The time is 2 p.m. This is Market View right here on Eswatini TV. My name is Notilisa Tole. Thank you for joining us. It is Monday, and here we are standing on the brink of one of Eswatini's biggest showcases of innovation, culture and commerce. That is the Eswatini International Trade Fair. With just a few days till the carpet is rolled out for exhibitors and visitors, we sit down with the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority and RSTP to unpack what this year's edition promises, the opportunities it creates for business, and why it remains a cornerstone of Eswatini's economic calendar. But first, our business news this afternoon. In our first story, proper application of rules of origin unlocks preferential market access for Eswatini exports, strengthens domestic production and creates jobs. This was highlighted by Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Melusi Masugu, during the World Customs Union training on rules of origin held at the Eswatini Revenue Service headquarters in Eswatini.
Trade remains the backbone of the Kingdom of Eswatini's economy. Proper application of rules of origin ensures that our exports qualify for preferential treatment in key markets, supports domestic production and contributes to job creation. However, these rules should never become barriers to trade. This is why building the capacity of our customs and government officials is critical to facilitate legitimate trade while protecting our economy from unfair practices.
Moteba from SADC says certain markets only allow imports from countries that meet specific origin requirements. She says getting this wrong can lead to goods being denied entry or delayed at the border.
The AFCFTA has several key objectives aimed at enhancing trade and economic integration across the continent. Some of the main objectives of the agreement is to increase intra-Africa trade through user-friendly rules of origin, reducing tariffs, and also reducing dependency on a limited number of export commodities. It is giving us a larger market, we have already said, with a customer base of around 1.3 billion. So it is a huge market. We need to be prepared for that market. And the rules of origin, ladies and gentlemen, we all know are very important and critical in ensuring that the free trade areas give us the benefits that we had anticipated as we were negotiating this agreement. And they help us to achieve that. We need to be sure that the goods that we are trading amongst ourselves are really originating in our regions, thereby providing a more production base. The rules of origin also clarify and promote production within the region.
Rejoice from GIZ shares that they will support Eswatini to maximize benefits from trade agreements through proper compliance with rules of origin.
SADC is committed to support implementation of the AFCFTA in all aspects, and we remain a good partner to the Secretariat, and will continue to also support the Secretariat in providing either financial support or other technical expertise, just to make sure that they also support the member states on the implementation of the agreement.
Exports from SADC member countries, COMESA and SACO, require a certificate of origin to confirm that the goods meet the criteria for preferential duty-free market access. Reporting, Nelson Langamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
Eswatini has secured several trade deals under SADC, COMESA and the EU, but local businesses are not fully utilizing these opportunities. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade is taking action by engaging businesses to raise awareness. Recently, the ministry held a training session at the Eswatini Revenue Service headquarters in Eswatini to empower local entrepreneurs to maximize these agreements.
The biggest challenge is information. They don't have the right information. They are just scared from far and think that they cannot access the agreements. But we are here now to tell them and to give them the places where they can find further information, especially online.
Muntu Almeida, Deputy Director of Trade at the Ministry of Commerce, highlights the key benefits for businesses under COMESA.
As Eswatini companies, they are able to choose the regional economic community with flexible rules. For instance, under COMESA, I can safely say that the rules of origin that we use for trading under COMESA are more flexible compared to the rules of origin for SADC, AFCFTA, and other RECs. Certificate of the rules of origin then allows these goods to receive preferences on the regional economic blocks. So the preferences are varying because we do negotiate different tariffs for the different RECs. So a trader will then be able to choose a more favorable certificate of origin to use amongst the different regional economic communities that we are party to.
The Chief Executive Officer of Eswasa, Ncamiso Mhlanga, urges local businesses to engage closely with Eswasa to obtain standards which are essential for trading under these agreements.
For this trade to be effected, there has to be standards that are followed across all the different African countries. These standards, they speak to making sure that the products that are going to be traded in these agreements, they are safe. So it's one thing for a country to have an agreement to say we are going to trade, but it's another thing for the actual trading. When now it comes to the actual trading, there must be common standards, there must be mutual recognition of the certification of those products. If Eswatini has certified, for instance, beef, that it is safe to be traded in another country. Maybe we want to sell this beef to Egypt. We must have a common certification recognition with Egypt. So we are here to speak to our traders because most of them who want to participate in these trade agreements, you find that they have got very good products, but the products, they are not certified. So we're here as SWASA talking to them and highlighting the importance of getting their products certified, because as a country, if these traders do not get their products certified, we will, the ministry, the government, we will continue arranging these markets and negotiating these agreements, but they will not be effected because what the countries will then need on top of agreeing in terms of the tariffs and everything will be following standards.
Business owners have admitted they lacked the right information on the trade agreements, but say the training has been insightful. Some of the agreements include the SADC-EU Economic Partnership Agreement as well as agreements under COMESA and SACO. Reporting, Nelson Langamandla, Vominkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
And that's all the business news I had for you for now at this hour. For now, we'll catch a break. After that, we're in conversation with RSTP and APA. Stay tuned.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.za.
Welcome back to the program. On to this now. The 57th edition of the Eswatini International Trade Fair is set to take center stage in Manzini from the 29th of August. This platform will bring together over 300 exhibitors and over 70,000 visitors. Business seminars are also set to ignite conversation on growth opportunities under the theme Digital Transformation 2.0, Creating Business Networks for More. RSTP AI strategist Menzi Kumalo and Thandeka Dlamini, who is the Manager External Trade Promotion Officer at APA, will joining me now, in fact, to actually unpack this year's theme. Thandeka, I'd like to start with you. It's the 57th edition. You know, if I were an advertisement, I'd say it's bigger and it's better. But what's new about this edition or this upcoming trade fair?
Thank you. Good afternoon to the viewers. So this year, the trade fair is, as you are saying, bigger and better. Even the seminars, business seminars for this year, they are bigger and they are better. They are aligning to the theme, as you so rightly put it, Digital Transformation 2.0. We believe that the digital transformation, we did have that theme last year of digital transformation, but because we're living in such a world today where we are seeing a lot of digital technologies being invented and innovated all around the globe, and they are impacting our daily lives, they are impacting our businesses, they are impacting the society at large, whether economically, whether we're speaking micro at the business level, whether we're talking socially as well. So for this year, the business seminars at the trade fair are also aligned to that theme. It's conversations, because the trade fair is not just an exhibition. It is also a space, or rather the business seminars offer that space, that platform to actually engage, to learn how these technologies are impacting lives. They are a platform where businesses, they also enhance dialogue between businesses, between visitors, as well as policymakers. We have institutions that are supporting businesses in the country. So this is a platform where at the trade fair, you get to see products in real live demonstration. They are being showcased, and also while that exhibition is ongoing, we also have this space for dialogue, this space for expert discussions, also for information sharing and knowledge sharing with visitors as well as exhibitors.
Right, Menzi, Digital Transformation 2.0. We had the similar installment for the trade fair last year. The conversation on transformation just grows bigger and louder. Not long ago, government launched the Government in Your Hand initiative. Can you explain the program and how exactly it is designed to help Eswatini?
Thank you so much for the question, Otsile. Well, essentially, as you so rightly put it, the Government in Your Hand initiative was designed by the Ministry of ICT. It's an initiative that basically brings all public services, all government services, straight to Eswatini smartphones. So I'm reminded of a keynote when I heard the Honorable Minister Savannah Mazia speak, where she had gone to government and she had gone to apply for, whether it was a document, I won't be specific, but she had gone to apply for something, and she was more so surprised at how long it actually took for people to queue up, stay in the lines. People would go to a Home Affairs or Revenue and stay the whole day there, and maybe even then not submit their documents and get what they want. Government in Your Hand is essentially the answer to that, because it brings services straight to Eswatini smartphones in the form of an app developed by the Royal Science and Technology Park in accordance with the Ministry of ICT. So now you no longer need to go to queue up to register your business. It can be done through Government in Your Hand. You no longer need to go every day at Home Affairs to check the status of your passport. You can do that through Government in Your Hand. Even paying for things as simple as your utility bills or your vehicle licenses, all of that can be done through Government in Your Hand. So in regards to the initiative, I think it's something Eswatini needed, but fortunately now it is here and it is not going anywhere.
All right. I understand the RSTP will also be participating in this year's trade fair. Exactly how do you see your visibility enhancing, science and technology and innovation in the country?
No, I think there's so much to do, especially with this year's theme. As digital transformation 2.0, it's not, those aren't small words, it's not a small phrase. It's, it puts a lot of pressure on everybody involved, especially stakeholders and partners of the trade fair. But I think as a Eswatini and as the partners, we are more than capable to deliver. From RSTP's perspective, I think the one thing we're going to try and do more than anything is show what technology, I won't limit it to a specific niche, but show what technology can do for Eswatini in the future, what it can do now and what it could be tomorrow in every single aspect.
All right. Thandeka, you mentioned that there'll be seminars. What are some of the topics that will be covered during the seminars for the benefit of, some of the entrepreneurs or businesses that will be, and individuals actually, that will be participating in the business seminars at the trade fair?
SRSTP is here with us as a partner. There will be a seminar on government in your hand, as well as the power of AI in today's economic and social life. So RSTP, together with the Ministry of ICT, will be delivering that. We have a very packed program. We have some of the topics being digital, how science is impacting our business. We have the University of Eswatini leading that aspect of the science part. We also have some information on access to finance, some financial instruments development-wise that will be launched at the trade fair. We have a number of launches that will be there, so it's about development finance. We also have the youth businesses. The youth will also be there, sharing some how we can use AI, how we can use technology, and all of these digital tools that are available for us to actually grow our businesses as the youth. We also have some insights on how to start exporting. A lot of businesses have been asking APA especially, how do I even begin? I have products, I have everything, how do I start to export? So we'll be sharing that at the CSEITF. So it is a packed program. It will begin from the 30th of August. On the 30th, we do have a seminar actually on how to get a US visa for students as well. So it's all of the seminars are targeted to a number of audiences. We have, they will begin on the 30th August until the 5th, which is the Friday. So they will be ongoing for the duration of the trade fair, and we encourage onke emaswati, businesses, employees of businesses, entrepreneurs, students, and everybody to register. The participation is for free during these seminars.
Right. Menzi, she touched a bit on AI. It's a digital tool that's mostly associated with the youth. How do you think Eswatini can harness AI or leverage AI actually just to, find some sort of development when it comes to certain areas, whether public service delivery or some of the key economic areas, agriculture or health?
I think that's a great question, Otsile, but I think because AI is so broad, there's so many opportunities for us as Eswatini to harness AI. I'll touch on a few sectors. I won't go through all of them because, we've got a few things lined up. But for instance, if we're speaking agriculture, agricultural drones for precision irrigation, multiple sort of other solutions that can ensure that soil, for instance, is the right pH level to plant. There are so many things you can do even in that space specifically on its own. I'll speak about healthcare as well. For healthcare, you could use AI for diagnostics. This means that things like TB, your diseases, HIV, cancer, there are early detection AI models that sort of help citizens know when they are caught with a specific disease. So I think it's very broad specifically. We can't limit it to one small aspect, but there's so much we can do in regards to AI. There's a lot.
Menzi, Thandeka, thank you both for your time. That's all the time we had. And that was Menzi Khumalo, who is the AI strategist at the RSTP, and Thandeka Dlamini, who is the manager external trade promotion at EPA. Just filling us in on the upcoming Eswatini International Trade Fair, the opportunities that await, and of course, what the young people or exhibitors stand to benefit. This is Market View. Stay tuned. We're coming back with the in-house economist Sanele Sibia for our market analysis segment.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience.
Welcome back. You are still watching Market View. Now for our market analysis segment. In-house economist Anele Sibia joins us via video link. A very good afternoon to you, Sibia. Last week we saw, the Jackson Powell signaling rate cuts in September, and this week we can expect rather 50% U.S. trade tariffs on India to take effect as of Wednesday. From your observations, what is shaping markets this afternoon?
Thank you, Notsile. So what markets are really responding to today and mostly just trying to make up for is that announcement by Jay Powell last week, where we saw, Powell signaling that the Federal Reserve Bank might begin to cut interest rates in September, even though he was a bit dovish in those statements and those sentiments, but that's what markets are looking forward to right now. So what we saw happening was markets really then rallied on the background of that. But what we're seeing today is a bit of a slowing down and, just markets trying to focus yet again on earnings season. And what we have coming through this week in terms of earnings is we have the biggest AI and the biggest chip company. We're expecting NVIDIA to post earnings on Wednesday afternoon, after closing bells. So markets are waiting to see if that AI chip is now released. Quite a number of those tech stocks were largely led by optimism around AI, but we've not seen artificial intelligence becoming profitable yet. So what the NVIDIA figures are going to be showing us is on a winning horse. So on that prospect, we saw markets rising by 846 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average to reach a new all-time high, an annual all-time high of 45,631, and we know that the S&P 500 back. We're expecting that the NVIDIA news are going to shape the S&P 500 one way or the other, because the NVIDIA is one of the most priced stocks within the S&P 500. And then when we move on to Europe, we can see that, those trade fears are coming back into markets, and there is a Jerome Powell's announcement at Jackson Hole last week. But when we look into London, London remains relatively steady with the FTSE 100 at 93.21.240. That's a 12.2%, 12.2 increase, and just a 0.13% increase overall. And then when you come into the greater Eurozone, now what you're looking into is the fact that we saw a publication of it itself still had a lot of T's to be dotted and a lot of knots to be tied. So markets are somehow a bit worried about that. But what we're seeing overall is financial markets are not at all now considering, they are considering the tariff risks, but they're not the major risks that are to be considered. And then when you go into the Asian markets, what we've been following through and through in Asia is basically the stability of the Chinese property market or the real estate market. Last week we saw that to pay off debtors, and today we saw that Evergrande has been delisted from Beijing, so it's no longer a listed company. So what we're seeing there with markets within Beijing, within Shanghai, markets are moving closer to $8,883.56. Is the fact that even though we were eyeing that Evergrande bubble to burst the entire property market within mainland China, but there were quite a number of incentives and quite a number of stimulus packages that the Chinese government pumped into the property sector, which include, amongst others, lowering the interest rates, which also include that local area purchasing realignment, readjustment to ensure that properties can move hands quite easily within that those local areas. So what we're seeing right now is, Asia continues to rally. Again, that's driven largely by that optimism on a rates cut to come from Europe. And we are just waiting, and we're seeing companies that are posting their earnings. And the price of precious metals continue to ensure that the JSE All Share Index stays above the 100,000 mark. We are now at 102,944 rands per share in terms of overall trade volumes. That's an upward surge of 220.88 rands. In the local stock market, we've not seen any movements. And then in terms of gold, gold continues to hold steady. Considering that we are expecting that rate cut to come through in September. And then oil continues to climb a bit because what markets are, we've seen is a bit of that uncertainty over that Gaza Strip within the Middle East and the overall demand, summer demand surge in last week, but we're seeing a bit of weaknesses in intraday trade with the Lilang and Sim showing some signs of relative weakness against the dollar, the euro, and also the Japanese yen. Now, that's largely driven by the fact that we do have that optimism around the rates cut in the US. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Sanele. We've just heard there from our in-house economist, Sanele Sibia, sharing insights on some of the day's trade. This has been Market View. Until the next edition, thank you for tuning in. Take care.